guys, it's great to be here. Before I start, I wanted to address something. People often tell me, Vikram, you're very serious for a comedian. And I say yes because I seriously try to look at the funny side of whatever has happened in my life. And I thought today is a good day to shed a layer from my childhood. After all, I'm spending my Valentine's Day giving a TEDx speech. I think the speech should be called How I Spent My Valentine's Day Giving a TEDx Speech. As you can see, I have a very high opinion of this audience. So guys, all those who are happy to be here with me today on Valentine's Day, give me a cheer. Okay, so maybe I should shed another layer. I had COVID in September, and one of the lingering after effects was loss of hearing. So see, I presume you guys are applauding and cheering very loudly. Okay, it's just that I'm hard of hearing, right? I also have breathlessness, so it feels a bit like I'm the Darth Vader of 2020. Just expect me to go at some point, Luke, I am your father. Yes, I know, Mark Zuckerberg told me. Which brings me to another layer that we have in our lives on social media. Like, why does every photo on Instagram need a motivational quote to justify its existence? Why do we need this false layer? If you got it, flaunt it. If you don't got it, work on it, then flaunt it. Or find a really good Instagram filter. Guys, I'm not using any filter today, okay? No, I mean visually. I don't mean I have no filter on what I'm going to say. But honestly, that's what being an introvert feels like. You're not always sure about what you're going to say or what you should say. It's like as an introvert, we see the world in very different layers from other people. And now I'm an introvert who's doing stand-up comedy and giving TEDx talks. Now, sometimes my comedy shows are received like TEDx talks. To recover from the shock of that, I give TEDx talks. Which means in some ways, you guys are my therapists. Because that's what therapy is also all about, isn't it? Asking you to strip the false layers you've wrapped around yourself that are the source of your unhappiness. But we fight self-awareness because with great self-awareness comes great self-responsibility. And the self-awareness came very early in my life, as did the internet in 1995. The two things are not related, just wanted to clarify. And you see, it happened because my late father was always ahead of the curve on technology. And he was an important layer in my life. The oldest of 13 children from a godforsaken village in Rajasthan. His mother passed away when he was 3, to be replaced by his stepmother, even worse than Bollywood stereotypes. But from there, he made his way to BITS Pilani and to IIM Ahmedabad. And somehow his labels became my layers. See, I'm not one of those kids who had to do an MBA. I was one who absolutely wanted to. I was in love with everything he shared from his IIM days. For he taught himself English from Reader's Digest to get into IMA. English was not a natural layer in his life, and neither was happiness. But he added both with his efforts and added what he could to our lives. But he and I also connected at a different level. It was our own layer. In a way that he struggled to connect with anyone else, and perhaps so did I. And that was my layer. I was 3 years old when Dad recovered from near death after his kidney transplant in 1986. He rose from the ashes and created wealth with ideas far ahead of their time. So I was into computers at a very early age. My dad would get the latest technology. Technology was my layer in the latter half of my preteens. I could identify with computers in a way that I couldn't identify with people. I made good friendships with the tech guys who worked in our office. In fact, when one of them was getting married, our whole family drove down from Churchgate to Vasai for the wedding. I still remember that moment. We reached there and someone from the family asked if Dad was from his office, and my dad just smiled and said, "I'm his boss." And that sudden change of respect in that other man's eyes, I will always remember. I sometimes like to joke. One of the reasons I could never be a good employee is because I was born a boss's son. That was my layer. I saw a man achieve dreams and ambitions. From unimaginable circumstances, he had reached unimaginable heights. He was the president of the Mumbai chapter of the IMA Alumni Association. And many of those meetings were held in our house. And it was in this rich environment of management discussions, newspapers, business news that I grew up in. I loved all of it. For those were pretty much my only companions apart from my father. And books. Books are a layer that have defined the core of my life's beliefs and way of thinking. I did a keynote recently called Books That Changed My Life. And I would say each of them reflects some layers of what happened in my life. Whether it's Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka, or Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand, or The Stranger by Albert Camus, or M and the Big Home by Jerry Pinto. Each of these books are layers from my life. For it was an English scholarship in the 10th standard that gave me the money to buy some really expensive books. And I think they remain my best investment. Books are the layer on top of which a lot of the layers of my life are built. Another layer of my life would perhaps be storytelling. As I was far ahead of the curve on computers at that time, I convinced everyone in my school that I hacked into NASA. And they all believed it. You guys please don't believe it, or else this video will get seized by the FBI. And my father would describe me to everyone as tech wizard and computer guru. We both even imagined a future together where I would go on to become the next prodigy, the next Bill Gates. For I had run the internet on Windows 3.11. That's like running Tinder on a Nokia 3310. You can either swipe left or you can play Snake. I used the first search engines that came well before Google. There was Yahoo, Webcrawler, Lycos, Alta Vista. I also hit puberty around the same time. Yeah, that's the subject of another TEDx talk. And Dad would look for the alumni online of Bits Pilani. Like idiots, we kept typing Pilanians instead of Bitsians. We didn't get SEO back then. But after a while, I remember we found the first alumni connection page for Bits. It's only many years in hindsight, I now realize he was also lonely and looking for intellectual peers to connect with. He had made his fortune and overcome difficult circumstances. But he had also led a very loner and introvert life. A life I can often relate to. For loneliness, perhaps, has also been a thread in my life, as I'm sure it's for a lot of you as well. To me, loneliness is the absence of perspective. If you feel like there's nobody in your life who can provide you that. But over a period of time, I found my own ways to find perspective on things. And storytelling to myself, along with my books, kept me going during this period. A lot of loneliness has now converted to solitude, but it took a long while to get here. I still remember the lanes of my junior college, Jai Hind College, where I studied from 10th to graduation. I wasn't a very confident kid back then in junior college, in the backdrop of a lot of things that were happening in my life. And this was a pattern through school, junior college, and even my BMS degree. It was only when I got to B school that for the first time, I tasted the layer that most people taste in school or college: popularity. And a lot of it, because of one single layer, I suddenly discovered was very valuable: public speaking. A layer that can envelop even the loneliest man in its warm embrace. For you may struggle to relate to people, but they can still find you relatable. And I found friendship and multiple heartbreaks. But it was the first time I felt like I got to live. It was the first time I had tasted this layer of life. And that's why I was even able to risk it. I added layers of risk-taking to my life in B school. I took the risk of riding a motorcycle. I would only ride it in campus, but one night I decided on the way back from the institute, today I'm going to head out. And I remember taking that bike down that road at Dholakwa in Delhi. And I passed by a large trailer truck. And I've never been more scared and yet more alive at the same time. Nitin Gupta of 2006 batch, if you're watching this, it was your bike. It was your Hero Honda Passion. And then, of course, there is this infamous story of what happened to me at Taj Mahal and Agra. But that's a story for another TEDx talk, or maybe for another hearing in court. So, yeah, it was an exciting life. But see, guys, I almost didn't make it here. I almost didn't make it to this life. Because as a comedian, I think I can say here's the funny thing about life, it's always the risks you never saw coming that get you. And perhaps the roots of a lot of that lie in the summer of 1996. From 1987 to 1996, we enjoyed a lifestyle that I can now imagine must have given Dad immense pride. And the best companionship a young boy could have hoped to have. He was the Charles Boyle to my Jake Peralta. But perhaps his illness and the gigantic chasm between where he came from and where he had reached was too much for him. It all exploded spectacularly in the summer of 1996. At the age of 13, I was just entering puberty when the very foundations of my world exploded. The bombs came from everywhere. Many other things happened, but primarily we went from wealthy to utter, complete, total devastation, with survival level uncertainty that lasted for 6 years. In 2002 of December, in what would have been the final end perhaps, somehow we turned it around and came out of Hawk, happy to just survive. I still remember the final college trip to Goa before passing out of BMS in the Feb of 2003. That was the first time in many, many years that I felt I had money to spend. I bought a Bacardi Breezer from the shack. Then I bought one more. That $150 per bottle no longer feeling like a crime. And now I know why I was so carefree in FMS. I wanted to live. For now, I had incorporated the layer of survival. Life has seen many waves after that. But perhaps that was the perfect storm. And dealing with it has given me a lesson that I keep trying to tell myself. खुद ही को कर बुलंद इतना कि अगर सितारे गर्दिश में ना हो, हम सारा आसमान ही बदल देंगे. But since this is TEDx, I guess I need to translate. If the fault is in your stars, change the very layers of your universe. There's a line by Ayn Rand in The Fountainhead. To say I love you, one must first say the I. So today on this Valentine's Day, please join me and let's say together, love you, Zindagi. My name is Vikram Podar. You guys have been an amazing audience. Thank you.